Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS and the inventor of the CTKS method and BORSOG trading. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family, and please note I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. And if you're going through a life pullback at the moment, our global family's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently down 2.08% to 16,210. Ethereum is down 3.52% to 1171. We've seen global markets come down really hard, and that's dragged crypto down with it. Investors hope Beijing will lift COVID curbs faster as protesters douse markets. There are literally protests everywhere through China. And with social credit systems in place and massive AI surveillance architectures throughout the entirety of China, the Chinese people in these protests are literally risking everything. The Chinese people simply don't want to be locked down anymore. There was hope of China's economy reopening, and that sent the markets into an upward progression. But now what we're witnessing is that is unlikely. And markets literally across the world felt the sting. And unfortunately, C19 is not going away. New strains keep on mutating. And we've seen the largest number of new cases in Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, Brazil, the US, Italy, and Taiwan. China is the manufacturing center of the world. And due to the interdependence of supply chains, when mass protests break out, that means that things don't get made. That in turn affects the bottom lines, and that's why we see markets in the red. In China, the Foxconn facility, which produces the vast majority of iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max devices, that's Apple's most in-demand handsets this year, has been racked by lockdowns and worker unrest for weeks. Thousands of staff fled in October after chronic food shortages, only to be replaced by new employees who rebelled against pay and quarantine practices. And the Fed says more rate hikes are coming, and that's spooking the markets. Due to a string of supply shocks, inflation risks are elevated. That means that Fed policymakers have more work to do. And what does that mean? They'll actually increase interest rates. And what does that do? It puts people out of a job. And what does that do? It brings supply and demand back into balance. How does it do that? By causing economic problems. And the Fed tightening cycle for 2022 has been the most aggressive, and increasing interest rates generally takes a lot of time to filter through the economic system. The markets have been looking for a pivot or the Fed to slow down interest rate hikes. That's not what's happening. The Fed has a ways to go on interest rate hikes, Bullard says. And the Fed is convinced that the target policy rate needs to be at least between 5 and 5.25%. This means at least, which actually means over 5.25%. And then rates would have to stay there during all of 2023 and into 2024. In other news, crypto lender BlockFi goes bankrupt in the aftermath of FTX. And the BlockFi bankruptcy filing shows it owes $30 million to the SEC. Oil rises with OPEC Plus seen considering cuts amid faltering market. JP Morgan cuts Brent crude forecast for 2023 by $8 to $90 per barrel. It was a volatile session for oil as the market slumped against unrest in China, and oil fell to its lowest level since 2021. But when the OPEC Plus considered production cuts, crude rallied. This is all in the space of one day. You can see, with so much political instability, so much uncertainty throughout the world, it's time to trade. With this context, let's look at the main markets, and we know that Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity, so it's really important to understand the global macro outlook. And you can see that really interesting little bump in oil's price just there. We just looked into that. One thing to keep your eye on, the VIX started to spike. You may say, well, that's not much of a spike, Ken, but it is a break potentially in this downtrend. It shows investors are getting anxiety over what is actually coming next. If we see a big ramp up in the VIX, and that is on the cards, we will see the market start to go down. And the markets going down will impact crypto and, of course, your beloved alts. So this is something that you need to keep your eye on. And Masterclass students, you get this live chart in TM6. The other thing that we want to keep our eye on is the DXY. You can see the DXY started to retrace. This could be the start of a different change in trend for the DXY. If the DXY actually comes up, breaks over resistance, and starts to come up, this will throw pressure on gold. It will increase bond yields, it will decrease bond prices, and it will throw pressure onto the NASDAQ 100 and all the major indices. Something to keep in mind. Using the CTKS method, we derive the market structure underneath the DXY, and we can see the DXY rallied up from one very strong level of support at 105,357 up to the next major resistance line at 106,673, and the DXY is currently 106,672. Well, it's basically just smack bang on that area. And you can see on the shorter time frame that we've actually overcome several levels of resistance. And this is something to keep your eye on. If oil continues up based on the COVID problems within China, also the market realizing the Fed is going to keep on tightening, these are things, impacts that will actually drive the value of the DXY upwards. The next major resistance line is 106,998, and we've got a minor level of support at 106,288. It's also important to keep your eye on the break-even inflation rates. And Masterclass students, you get my live chart in TM4. We can see that the 10-year and 5-year break-even inflation rates have been coming down. They've been retracing, but they're just kind of kicking up at the moment. And we've seen the NASDAQ trying to make its way up, but not doing too well. And Bitcoin, because of the FTX saga, has come down. But one thing to note is the Fed balance sheet is literally coming down, and it's coming down hard, as is M1 and M2. Just bear this in mind. I've been talking a while now that Masterclass students, you need to look at LV25. Now more than ever, you need to look at that. And also look at LV21, because those BORSOG secrets, how to get in and out, and how to trade effectively, will require all of the Masterclass's knowledge, but it's definitely one you should revisit because there's always opportunities in the crypto market. And Masterclass students, you also get this live chart in LV24. What we see here is something particularly interesting. The NASDAQ and Bitcoin have both rolled over, and the yields have been coming down. The 2-year, the 20, the 5, the 30, and the 10. What this actually signifies is that there's a structural issue within the economic system, and we would expect yields to start to increase on the back of what we've seen recently. And when we look at the federal funds rate prediction in April 2023, it's currently 4.915%, but we would expect it to raise up to at least the 5 to the 5.25% level. Just keep this area in mind as well. And what happens when yields increase? When yields increase, at the moment the correlation is inverse. Yields increasing puts downward pressure on the markets, all of them. We're also getting a little overextended in the S&P 500, so that's just something to be aware of. We may get a temporary pullback and a resumption out of it. Always keep that on the cards as well. The collapse of FTX by Sam Bankman-Fried because of fraud and misuse of customer funds, which is fraud, will be felt for quite some time. It's still an evolving situation just how much these different projects are going to be affected by Alameda Researchers and FTX Venture Portfolio's investments. One thing recently, when we look at Matic, Sandeep, the co-founder of Polygon, Matic, claimed that the Polygon Foundation and all of its other companies never had an FTX account. And FTX Ventures bought $50 million worth of Matic earlier this year that unlocks in 3 years' time. So everything is currently locked now. Hence, what we'll do with Matic now is just to remove that lightning bolt. And we can see how much FTT has been hit. It's down currently 95.03%. These are just tokens that we need to keep our eye on. And it doesn't mean that these tokens can't come up. When you look at Voyager, VGX, it's having a party, and Ape is also aping it. It's going really well. The critical thing is to be aware. We are literally in the depths of crypto winter, and we look at the fear and greed index, we can see that we've been under a lot of fear for quite a long time. That means that all the weak hands in crypto, the crypto tourists, so to speak, have been shaken out. And this also means the people who remain understand that crypto is simply the ownership layer on the next evolution of the internet, Web 3.0. It's literally that simple. But I don't know why people just don't get it. When the internet was developed a long time ago, and I was right there at the start of internet adoption, actually running an internet service provider, people thought that the internet was a fad. It wouldn't work. Now we can't live without it. It will be the same with Web 3.0. The key is that the protocols need to be owned decentralized, in a decentralized manner, because if we focus the ownership of protocols into the hands of a few, they can control the next version of the internet. That's why it's so important for us to be here in this crypto space. And what happens when large companies get really powerful? Well, they can throw their weight around, and Apple is one of the most powerful companies on the planet. Elon Musk, Apple threatened to yank Twitter from the App Store. And Elon has said Apple has mostly stopped advertising on Twitter. As an investor and a trader, you're always looking for key events. You're always seeking to understand what's going on beyond what other people can see, what's going on under the surface. Elon has just recently tweeted, Apple has also threatened to withhold Twitter from its App Store, but they won't tell us why. And Apple takes a 30% tax from app developers who make over $1 million through the App Store on an annual basis. Apple's App Store is the equivalent to a 30% tax on the internet. This is why, if you see pictures like this, and this is from Elon, you will actually understand what it's talking about. And what could Elon do? By going to war with Apple, he would have to create a new phone. And of course, if Elon wants to do that, I'm sure he could pull it off. And Elon, if you want to take out the global market, just put your phone out at half the price of the iPhone. You'll get everybody buying it. The iPhone is ridiculously expensive. Looking at crypto market cap, or total crypto market cap, we can see that smart money sell level at $799.232 billion was absolutely adhered to. We couldn't get across it. Now, how are these Stanfield levels actually drawn? One thing is that not drawn from recent price action. That always creates very bad estimates on what price does. SLs are created from the entirety of price action, and on December the 11th I'll be releasing inside the masterclass the update to these SLs, showing you exactly how to draw them in the CTKS method version 2. It's going to be a ripper, and this just shows how powerful these lines are. The question is, where are we going to next? The next major level of support is $673 billion. That's about 13.4% away from the current total crypto market capitalization. But there is another level of support around 9% down at $707 billion. And we have levels of resistance above about 4%, about 8%, and nearly about 12% at $866 billion. As traders, we're always interested in being on the right side of the percentage. If you're an investor, you must be on the right side of the trade. But if you're a trader, you can be on the wrong side of the trade, but on the right side of the percentage, and you will do very, very well. We know that no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, and Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity either. And when we look at the SL line on Bitcoin, the 16649 mark was not capable of being breached. And then we had the news coming out of China that it's basically still in lockdown and not reopening. And also the Fed news that the tightening cycle would continue for some time. Bitcoin is currently trading at 16,221. The next resistance line above, and these are structural resistance lines, not recent price action resistance lines. The next SL is 16,649. The one above it is 18,687 and 18,945. The 18,945 mark is about 17% above the current price. The next major support line is around 14% below the current price, at a value of 13,895, and this is quite a good support level. But if we get a lot of negative momentum, it will crush through that support and could ping back. Just remember, when something is gathering a lot of momentum, typically it's not slowed by one safety net, even if it's a strong one. And 13,447 is a minor support below that. And when we look at the Stanfield lines through the CTKS method on XRP, we can see we lost this very, very strong level of support at 39.57. XRP is currently 38.94. We may be coming back for a retest and a resumption down. Just bear this in mind. It all depends on how the market actually interprets what's happening in China and what's happening with the Fed. And of course, there are a few more other things to consider in that batch. But one thing that you will tend to see is the price actually pings below, above and below these strong levels of support and resistance. That's why there is so much importance in these lines. Being an investor in times like this is really, really tough. And you can learn trading on the side. It will just make you a much, much better investor. When you trade, you're actually seeking to take advantage of these sell-offs and retracements to get onto the right side of the percentage. For example, if you were fortunate enough to actually step in and start buying as XRP fell to the bottom, between the low and this particular price, where we're at right now, is about 4.45%, and that's done in just under 1 day. And if you missed that one and you actually picked up this one, it's about 4.23% away. So you can see in about 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours, you can see how trading can actually be very, very advantageous, and you can trade in an up or down market by going long at spot. You don't have to use leverage. And this is why we do our daily three-dimensional risk management, or our BORSOG code, and I do a deep explanation in episode 685. The first thing we do is to create a percentage which we think really represents what the market will do in the next 24 hours. We always consider the down percentage first, because if price goes against you, that's what you want to be prepared for. A lot of times in zone 1 and zone 2, people just say, oh, everything is fantastic, it's going to go up. But you don't want rose-colored glasses in a financial market, because you're up against some pretty smart and sophisticated individuals. Considering the downside first places you in that category of being very smart and sophisticated, because that's what they do. Then next, you think about how that particular movement in the market could impact your entire portfolio. And for example, if you said, 100% down, and you just had neutral at 100%, well, that means you're just in cash. And the real key is to understand and improve your synchronization factor each and every day. And you'll need to do it every day in order to actually boost that synchronization. This is a license to print money. When you get synchronized in with the market, you'll be able to understand and anticipate what the market is doing and take advantage of it. The synchronization factor is all about, do you have the Midas touch? Are you in the zone? Or do you have the Medusa touch? If you have the Medusa touch and everything is dropping like stones, that's just what the institutions always do. They're always trying to desynchronize you from the market. That's how they make their money. Let's make them work for it. Opportunities in crypto reset every single day. And we can see the greatest gainers in the past 24 hours, Ape, Phantom, Stacks, BSV, Link, and we got a couple of stable coins in there. Ooh, what does that mean? Please let me know in the comments. And the greatest losers over the past 24 hours, HT, CVX, Leo, Cello, Doge, CRV, and XCN. As part of our process, we mark up our charts with the CTKS method. We look beyond the crypto market into the main market to gain context and clues and hints as to where macroeconomic sentiment resides. Then we look back into the crypto market, finding the market's focus and understanding opportunities reset every day. But before we buy or sell, we must master fear. Mastering of emotional control is incredibly important. If fear is the CEO of your decision-making process when it comes to getting money in and out of the market, you will typically buy, well, you can almost guarantee that you will buy at the wrong place and you'll sell at the wrong place. Because you'll literally buy and sell when you are desynchronized. And rule 45 from the masterclass, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Looking at the top alts, I've just drilled in here because I want you to see how Bitcoin's gravity aligns the alts. The blue line is Bitcoin's gravity, and you can see when Bitcoin sold off, Ethereum went with it, and Binance Coin went with it, XRP went with it, Doge went with it, ADA went with it, Matic went with it, DOT went with it, Litecoin went with it. What does this actually mean? If Bitcoin is weakening, it's losing support, you must pay attention because your profits actually rely on you looking at Bitcoin first inside the crypto market. On days like today, you can really see the directional correlation playing out. And yet, so many people don't know about this, and I just don't understand why. Statistically, it's just so obvious that it's there. And when we look at the next 8 top cryptos, we can see SHIB. As Bitcoin came down, what happened to SHIB? It went down. What about Tron? It went down. What about Sol? Yep, it went down. What about Uni? It came down. AVAX came down. Link came down. Now look at this. Link is starting to throw a different signal. It's still moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity, but it's overextending the percent upward move. There must be something really interesting going on here with Link. Keep your eye on that. Atom, when Bitcoin moved down, yeah, Atom went down as well. And what about Stellar, XLM? When Bitcoin came down, well, everything came down, except for the inverters. That's about 1% of the crypto market. Traders are not scared of market volatility. In fact, we love it. We love it when markets are volatile because that allows us to get on the right side of the percentage. And when retail is running from the dance floor or the trading floor, we can see that the invisible hand of price is doing its job and it's coming up. Prices are coming up to call retail back again. It's really important. Don't get synchronized in with the retail. crowd because you'll get smashed financially. What you want to do is to get synchronized in with this invisible crowd, this one here on the dance floor, because when the dance floor is empty, you know the best songs are playing, and the dance floor is looking pretty empty right now. And whatever you can do, please try to get yourself out of panic zone and blame zone and into the patience and rules zone and into the mastery of fear zone, zones 3 and 4. That will make your life very, very happy and also very profitable. There's nothing but misery in zone 1 and zone 2. And the bridge out of zone 1 and zone 2 is learning and gratitude. And Philip had a fantastic comment from yesterday's video. Even if we have nothing, we can be grateful for life, for living in a world with remarkable healthcare undreamt of even a generation ago, and for more and more of the world food security, even though there's inflation. Gratitude gives us hope. Thank you, Philip. Really, really wise words, my friend. Kian said in yesterday's video, having gratitude is insanely powerful. I find the best moments in life occur in a place of gratitude. Very beautiful, my friend. And John said, gratitude, I'm grateful for being here with you, Ken, and Kate. Oh, it's so sweet. And all the dedicated community coming here every day. Yeah, they're awesome. It surely is the highlight of my daily routine. That's really beautiful, John. Such wisdom shared here. Grateful for the masterclass, learning the way of a professional trader and investor, and most importantly, an improved human. I'm grateful for a home to live in with great friends here and abroad. So fortunate. That's very, very nice, John. And John K said gratitude reduces stress and makes you more content and happier with all the wonderful things that you already have. Fantastic, John K. And Dan, how fantastic. It's impossible to hold gratitude and negativity in the mind at the same time. Dan says, I always found that fact very powerful, and it is powerful. That's awesome, Dan. Ivan said in yesterday's video, I am grateful for the complications in life. They help me to be creative and overcome them. And there are so many beautiful things in here, and our community shared so many wonderful ways to be grateful. And if you have a look at yesterday's video, you'll just see such wisdom shared inside our community. Thank you to everybody for your very kind and caring comments yesterday. We have such an incredible global family. And if you have family or friends who could benefit from positive excellence and what we do here each and every day, please introduce them to our community by sharing a video. We'd love to see them here. We have one of the best communities on YouTube. I really urge people to read through the comments. They're just incredible. And in tomorrow's comments, we could talk about the CTKS method. How has it helped you? And how has it benefited you? And if you're new to our beautiful community, a very warm welcome, and you might just like to reach out in the comments and just say hi. And well done everybody for popping in your BORSOG codes. Excellent. There's an enormous amount of wisdom inside our global family. And also a lot of heart. In trading and investing, it's really important to keep a positive attitude. That's why we have the CTKS Creed. Even when the market turns red, there are always opportunities. And the positive affirmation statements within the CTKS Creed make it much easier to identify and to act on these opportunities. It's important to know life is for you and not against you. And we never let a problem beat us. And we know hard work will always be rewarded. That's why the first line of the CTKS Creed, I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities and life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.